Happy Friday, everyone. It's October 11th, 2024 on a Friday. I know that for the Jewish people, it's Yom Kippur. It is the highest of all holidays, so they're doing their atonement thing, because that's what the holiday is about, atoning for things. I am not Jewish. I just happen to know that. And I mean, this video is just me talking about the fact that I've realized I am going through what I like to call my midlife crisis journey. And the reason I call it that is because I don't feel like I'm getting old and I'll never accomplish things before I'm dead or anything like that. It's more that I'm 47 years old, 3 years to 50, okay? And which is midlife, 47. And I'm in a crisis with my career, among other things, but mostly my career. My marriage is doing fine. We're good. Career-wise, I love what I do, and while I am employed, I'm still waiting for the credentialing to go through and everything. It is difficult to have to do this again, and I'm beginning to wonder if this is the kind of thing I want to keep doing, if corporate is taking over healthcare in general and mental health care. So it's been hard for me. I'm also doing other things to keep myself grounded. You know, I said in the last video I had done, I started writing erotic stories for Literotica. Listen, man, I had no idea I could write like that. And look, I used to write a lot, but my writing was, whatever. It was either my journal or it was stuff I made up that I would do, like a fictional shit. But it's been years since I've been able to write just about anything. And since this whole thing has happened, since I've been perimenopausal, all of it came crashing down to giving me enough energy. And I say crashing down because that's what it feels like. But suddenly all of this energy is also very sexual. And me being monogamous, I'm going to use that sexual energy for something else, which is writing. That's what I've been doing a lot of, is writing. And the writing is pretty erotic, and I have to say I've got people who enjoy it. I didn't realize it, but people are turned on by my writing, and it feels good. I feel good about that, being sex positive myself. But this midlife crisis has been one hell of a journey, in that I guess that part of the midlife crisis would be that my sexual energy makes me feel younger, I guess. I don't feel old, so I don't know if I could say it makes me feel younger. But I will say, nostalgia is a big part of the crisis, because I'm remembering things from my past. I'm thinking about things. I'm reminiscing on things. I do that a lot, but this time it's just been very visual in my head as well. And I'm using a lot of that to write my Literotica stories. One of the things that has come up a lot is an affair I had many years ago. And I've talked about this with my own trauma therapist. Being a licensed clinician myself, I have a therapist just for me because I have my own issues that I'd like to work on. And this affair came up while I was talking to my therapist. And this is something that happened over 20 years ago. He was this dude that I went to the acting school with. We were paired for a scene. And in that scene, through that scene, things happened. And it became very touchy-feely, emotionally inclined, all of that shit. Like, there was an emotional attachment on my end. I don't think so much on his. I think his emotional attachment was more attached to his dick, whereas my emotional attachment was emotional, but also attached to my pussy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my vagina. I am not gonna fucking lie. Okay. I was in my young 20s. I was a hornball. I still am a hornball. But in my young 20s, I wasn't very sexually educated, especially in the world of kinks. That didn't happen until my mid to late 20s. And honestly, kept going from there until now, where I'm actually very comfortable with my sexuality and very comfortable with sex in general and kinks and all of that. It's very different. So this situation came up with my therapist, and I realized that in hindsight, that experience is now a learning experience for me. It's no longer a nightmare. It's no longer horrific. It's no longer seen as something hurtful anymore. It's seen as, I learned something from this. I learned something from my own toxic behavior regarding this. I learned how bad my codependency really is regarding this, but I didn't really accept it till years later. And I also, my sexual world was opened up. Now, I'm not going to lie, the relationship was kind of inappropriate because of the situation he was in. He was married. He was attached. I was not. And I can't say that was the right thing for me to do, because I'm not going to say it was. You know, it wasn't. And it took me years, decades, a decade, 2 decades, maybe even, to forgive myself and stop shaming myself for something that happened years and years ago. And that feels good to be able to do that. I have to say that when I think about that time in my life, which was also a crisis in its own way, if I knew then what I know now, I don't think I don't think it would have changed. I think I still would have slept with the guy several times, the many times that we did. But my mind would be much more mature, and I would have just looked at it as this guy was just a nice fuck for 2 years. Instead of, oh my God, I've fallen in love with him. You know, the reality is I knew that I loved him, but I don't think it was a mature kind of love. Then it, you know, now it's very different. The way I love is, yes, it's hard. I love very hard, but and I am very emotional with it. But I'm also very mature about it. My husband, the man that I am married to and will be married to for the rest of my life, because he's my second husband and it's going to be my last. I always say that. He wasn't like the other guys that I've had in my life. I didn't have to chase him. I've had to chase every fucking guy in my life. I'm not gonna lie. My husband, I didn't have to chase him. It just happened. It was natural. We knew that we were for us. So I know that this goes everywhere, the way I talk about this, but it's a different way to think about it. Like if this was a situation that came to me now, I would say, no, I'm not getting involved. You know, I'm very happy, and I am. I'm extremely fucking happy in my marriage. It may not look it with all my other shit that's going on, but that's about me. That's not about my marriage. You know, my husband is extremely supportive, a sweet person inside and out, has the soul of a saint, in my opinion. And is just really a really loving person who has not told me one lie, who has been transparent with me, who has really loved me in an unconditional way that I've never really been loved before in a romantic relationship, if you will. So when I think about going through this midlife crisis journey, I am thankful that I'm in a marriage that is so wonderful to me that I just want to be with him. He's just a good person. But when I'm dealing with my midlife crisis journey, it can get kind of difficult sometimes because I feel out of place in a lot of ways. I feel like in my career I'm not accomplishing what I want to accomplish. So I guess that's part of it. But I guess I'll ask every one of you out there who never watch these videos, if you're having a midlife crisis, if you're in your 40s and your 50s or what have you, and you're having a midlife crisis, how are you handling it? How are you coping with it? I'm interested in knowing. Have a good day and weekend, everyone.